Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special, close to my heart episode of True Talks, where I will be joined with an incredible entrepreneur. And in this episode, we're going to talk about something that will really make a massive difference to your life. If you are looking to grow your business, launch your business, or perfect your business, whereby you are able to help a lot of people, make a lot of money, and also keep close track and balance track of your family and of your health, then this is going to be the episode for you. And I'm super excited to talk about this, and especially super excited to talk about this with our amazing guest, which I'm going to announce in a moment, because this is something that has been very influential for me this year specifically, because I used to be the person who always kept on going, not take any time for myself, not rest, and all that stuff, which obviously isn't very beneficial. And it wasn't until this year I had a little bit of a wake-up call where I thought, like, wait a second, I need to change something, because this is not really not really beneficial, not beneficial for myself, not beneficial for the other people that I want to help and serve the world, and also not beneficial for my loved ones. So have you ever had it in your life where you just felt like, oh my gosh, how do I juggle it all? How do I balance it all? Comment below, let us know in the chat. Also, do let me know if you are in business or if you are looking to build a thriving business, because today you guys are in for a massive treat, because with me, I have one of our immensely incredible, positive, and powerful global impact creators. And her name is Isabel. She's absolutely wonderful. And you will see that in a second. And one of the reasons why I'm so excited to have this call with Isabel is because Isabel is the type of person who not just talks the talk, but walks the walk. And man, how she walks the walk is absolutely incredible. She inspires people all around the world with her incredible community, with her incredible message to be able to have a balanced soulpreneur business, and to be able to allow people to get what it is that they believe in, what it is that they want to mean to the world, to a thriving level. This lady, absolutely, she has the most incredible energy. And every single time I see her videos, every single time I see her in real life, because we run events together, I get so inspired. It's so contagious. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring this incredible superstar on. Comment below and say, welcome, Isabel, because Isabel Gondar is the lady I'm speaking about, and she will blow you guys away. So, without further ado, let me bring her on. 3, 2, 1. Everybody say hello, Isabel. Hey. Oh, let me unmute you so you can actually speak.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for the welcome.
I'm so excited to have you here, and especially because I know how driven you are on this topic, and how, everything that you do within your business is to help people all around the world, and to help them basically see that you can find balance. Because a lot of the time, like I said before, and what I also wrote in my post earlier, is that you get messages from your audience and from your students, and I get messages from my students and my audience about this very topic, because sometimes we want to, do great things and achieve great goals, but we might feel like we don't have enough time to be able to do it all. So that's why I'm super excited to have this chat with you guys today, with you today, and with everybody watching today. And but before we dive into it, I just really want to ask you, because I know you, I know how incredible you are, and I am well aware of everything that you do. But maybe you would like to introduce yourself and let the audience know who you are, and what is your life about, and how I should inspire them. So the floor is yours, my dear.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Ooh, almost without words. Thank you so much for the love. I love helping people, especially entrepreneurs, to find the right balance for them, and not just in business, but in life. So I know as entrepreneurs, we are also driven, and we want to do so much. So we are really always running towards that goal. And when we get there, we want the next one, right? And sometimes it's really easy to forget about our health, or we might feel that we need to spend less time with our family, the ones we love. And probably we are running the business for them because we want to provide more experiences for them. But from my own experience and working with other entrepreneurs, I see this is a it's something that it's common to everyone, maybe in the beginning or in the middle of your journey, to feel that sometimes you don't know exactly how to bring on that balance. So I'm passionate about that, helping that people finding their right balance. And I used to work as a dance fitness instructor. So for the past probably more than 10 years, almost 10 years, I've been working with people, but in different areas, or using different tools to help people. So I used to work as a fitness instructor, personal trainer, dance fitness, and helping people to feel more confident, change their health. But I realized that people wanted to take care of the body, but then there was something missing, which was the mindset. So I started to become really interested in that area, psychology and the mindset behind why we do certain choices. So that's what I do now. That's what I used to do. Previous, I used to bake cakes. So if you
Oh,
want a cake, I can bake a cake for you.
I love one. Nice. That's super awesome. And also, before we go any further, if anyone on this call or who will be watching the replay has not yet followed Isabel, make sure to follow her. She's absolutely amazing. Isabel Gondar, or I am Isabel Gondar, on all her social platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, and all across the internet, which is highly recommended. But I really like what you said just now about the power of the mind. And I think, hey, I hear myself double. Is there a way that we can stop that?
I hear fine.
All right. Yeah, the audience is hearing it too. The double, like a little echo. Echo, echo. The words are so nice. You hear it twice. All right. Well, we'll just go. We'll just run with it. But one question that I want to ask you, and this is also like very important for the audience, as I can see there's a lot of people over here and they're saying, "Hoo ha hoo, Isabel!" They're very excited. And Misty is saying you are both so inspirational. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. But what I want to ask you, and this is something that obviously within your journey in helping and inspiring so many people and working with your clients, you I know you talk about a lot, is like you just mentioned, the power of the mind. Because a lot of the time what I see as well is that whenever people set themselves a goal, like I want to launch a business, or I want to do something to help my family, or whatever they may set, that people sometimes get stuck on the mechanics of it. So the skills about it, acquiring knowledge and more knowledge and more knowledge, which of course knowledge is very, very, very important. But like you just said before, it's the mind that is very, very much more important. It's like a lot of the time people say is 80% is mindset and only 20% is the mechanics and the knowledge. What would you say you find one of the most important things like about the mind that this audience can take away today about how they can get a step closer towards achieving their goals?
Yeah. I usually say it's not about what you're doing, it's who you are being.
Mm.
Um, so what I mean by that is, like you were saying, it's not the amount of information that you can gather and then apply, because there's so much information out there.
Yeah.
It would take a lifetime, but it's more about who you are being, why you are making certain decisions, and how you are making them. Because every time we make a decision, whether that is to maybe not put the program out there because it's not good enough, or to click on the button to go live, every time you're making a decision, there is a story behind that is running behind the scenes. You might have that little inner voice. And sometimes it can stop us. Sometimes you will know it is there and still go forward. And sometimes it's a voice that is just pushing you forward, and it's a positive one, right? But what I want to say is that everybody has a story running behind the scenes. So that's why it's important, the mind, because whatever you do, whatever action you do, there is something going on behind the scenes. So when I say it's who you are being, is it's more about the energy that you're putting out there.
Yeah.
So let's say if I'm putting something out there out of fear, or maybe because I want to show that I'm good at what I do, whatever that is. It depends where you're coming from, right? Or if you're putting things out there because you're coming from the heart and you really want to help people, it's a completely different energy.
Yeah.
So whatever you're doing, how you are doing, what is the story behind, and what is the energy that you're coming from. Some people say, whether you're coming from fear or love. You can talk about that if you prefer.
That is so, so beautiful. And I totally resonate with that as well, because I think as well, like, first of all, everybody who's in here in the comments, comment below and say it is about the energy and the intention with which where you're coming from. I think one of the things why I get so excited about this and hearing you talking about this is because I have seen in my journey and the different things that I am doing on a day-to-day basis, and whenever I started in business a little while back, and the steps that I've taken and the results that I've gotten. I said this to you the other day, like I see so much similarity in the different things that we do. And one of the main things that I totally adore about you is just your energy. The energy with which you show up. It's just this unconditional source of loving energy with which you always show up with everything that you do, whether it is on the calls, whether it is when we work together, whether it is when we run events, whether it is for your students, whether it is with your studio. Like every single thing that I have seen you do, you come with that same unconditional, wow, same unconditionally loving energy. And I think that is super powerful, because if I look at my journey and I look at the results that I have gotten, and also the speed at which I've gotten results, that has been super influential. Just the energy and the excitement and the enthusiasm. And that's what I see with you. And that's also why whenever I see your live videos, or whenever I see you run your challenges, or running the different sessions in your group or with your students, this is one thing. Every single time I look at you, it's like, oh my gosh, so much energy. And the way how you show up is like so much energy. And I think that is super incredible. And also just for the audience, I really want to say this, because I've had the pleasure now to work with Isabel for, well, I think it's for more than a year now that we've been working together.
Yeah, around every year. Yeah.
Yeah. And with this, like there is not a time that I meet with Isabel and I do not get, how do you say, positively influenced by her. Like her energy is so contagious. And so that is truly important, because whenever, and I see this as well with the results that your students get, you somehow transfer that energy onto them. You somehow, when you teach, you come from such enthusiasm that with that enthusiasm, it's not just that you're sharing knowledge with them, which you do and which is super powerful, but you somehow transfer that energy and they feel that energy, and therefore your students also get the results. And just on this note, I just really want to let everybody know, Isabel is running a very powerful masterclass on this topic, which she has decided to do completely free of charge for our incredible audience. So if you want to be part of it, I highly recommend it. I'm going to put a link in the description. This is a free masterclass. It will take about 1 to 2 hours. It goes into this topic in a lot more detail, and like a lot more detail how you can create a soul-aligned entrepreneurial business. I'm also just quickly going to show it in here in case anybody does not see it on the replay or anything like that. I highly recommend you guys to be part of this, because like I said, every single time I meet with Isabel, every single time I work with her, I get just positively inspired. And if you have that, and you then are able to learn by means of that energy transfer, that's where results come. I think that's a super, super powerful thing. So I just really want to say a big thank you to Isabel for sharing this gift with the audience. I already commented on saying thank you, Isabel. See you on the masterclass. And the next question that I want to ask you, and this thing has also been very important for me, is like, how do you find balance in your life? What are the main things that you take into account and that you also share, with your students, and specifically right now talking about the topic of health? How do you, like, what would be one tip that you can give the audience today about having health as an important factor
Mhm.
whilst running your business?
Thank you so much for this question. I just love it. How do I find balance? I'm still learning and I'm still improving the recipe. So, and this is what I want to say is that you are constantly improving and changing things. And for me, this is a big thing. Um, but I also realized that, whatever I do, health has to be first.
Hmm.
And I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Um, because years ago, when it was 2015, I think,
Hmm.
I was in England for the first time. So I was here for 2 years. I was a mom for the first time. My daughter was 2 years old. I decided to do a master. So there was a lot going on in that during that year.
Yeah.
And I was studying long hours, taking care of her. And it was a year that was super, super stressed. And
Mhm.
things weren't going really well. I guess my energy wasn't that great. Because
Uh-huh.
things weren't going great, and that started to affect my health, my physical health. So I was going regularly to the GP, leaving the GP with a prescription, and after a few times, something clicked, and I realized, oh, okay, right, I get it, why I keep going to the GP with the same problem,
Mhm.
and I knew theoretically that stress wasn't really good, but
Yeah.
until I felt it in the body,
Mhm.
it was a different story. And actually, that changed my perspective and what I was doing. And also, I became much more interested in health and um, how emotions impact physically. So
Yeah.
then I started to study, I started to explore that topic. And that became one of the most important things at the time for me was to get away from stress. But then I understood that there were other things going on as well.
Yeah.
So constantly, how I find health is constantly trying to is finding the right balance for me, because there is sometimes I think people talk about a balance like there is one
Yeah.
recipe where you can apply in your life. There isn't one, and what works now might not work next week or in a month.
Mhm.
So I've been working on this, and for me, because I tend to get triggered by stress. I'm
Mhm.
really aware of what are the triggers and
Mhm.
when do I need to step back.
Yeah.
So this is the work that I'm doing.
Mhm.
So for everybody listening, for you can be something else. Maybe you get
Mhm.
overwhelmed. Maybe it's anxiety for you.
Mhm.
And the step number one is to understand what is the thing, maybe the thing that you are struggling with, and
Mhm.
what is the trigger. Okay,
Yeah.
so then you can start to ask yourself questions to understand. So for example, if it's an anxiety, what is triggering that anxiety for you?
Mhm.
Okay, this is something that I work with my students. Sometimes there was this student that I had that I talk about more on the webinar,
Mhm.
and she couldn't grow her business because of anxiety, for example. So we work on what is the trigger, and then once we knew what was the trigger, we started to working on that, and then from there she built it up on their health. She went back to running, and
Mhm.
it was interesting how changing her health then impacted so much on her business. It's just
That is so
incredible.
beautiful.
So yes, so for me, number one, health. Health is number one, and for me, the thing is stress.
Yeah. This,
So
this is very, very true, and I find it so beautiful that you're saying this, because also in my own journey of balance, which is especially this year, there's been a lot of changes. I've made some changes in my lifestyle because of, again, had to learn the hard way in a way. Um, I love it very much, like how you teach this, and how basically also like within the your programs, how health is such a core element of it, because like what you said, like the way how you go about it, and understanding the psychology, but also understanding that health has such an impact on all areas of your life, which is also what I see. Like when I do more training, when I take rest more often, I have so much more energy, so much more productivity. It has an influence on everything, even on my confidence and my self-belief and all that. So that's what I find really beautiful also within your program, how you incorporate the health element in there, and how you incorporate for instance yoga, and how that is such an integral part, because this is super super true. It's not just about, oh, I'm all business 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 and that's just it. No, there is balance. Balance is absolutely a must, and I want everybody to comment below and say balance is key.
It's
Balance
just
is
about creating that lifestyle that works for you, that helps you to keep your health and to stay in a state that you feel balanced, you feel okay with number of hours you're working, number of hours you are with your family, and
yeah.
dedicating to yourself.
Hmm. That's so true. And there's one thing that I actually want to ask you next, because I adore your daughters. They're so so incredible, and I met them, for the audience. I met them for the first time at the end of March at our event, FLA event, and it was so lovely. And they're just incredibly beautiful and creative, and they're also involved in some of the things that you do. So the next question is really like, how do you combine your incredible empire, running that and helping people from all around the world, with also running a successful family, like looking after the family, looking after the household, like that beautiful core. How do you do that? Because this is also again a thing that a lot of people sometimes find difficult to combine, and they think it should be either all one thing, but you found such a beautiful way to combine both of it. So what is your take on that?
Yeah. When the first time when I invested in coaches to help me on my business, one of the things that I've heard was that you need to build your business around your family. And I didn't believe it at the time. I said,
Mhm.
really? Doesn't business comes first? That was my mentality.
Yeah, yeah,
How is that possible? And it took me a few years to understand that. Um, Now, when I do things, for me, the role as a mom
yeah.
is so important that I can't live with the guilt or with the
Yeah.
thought that I wasn't there.
Mm.
So for me, being there with them is the most important. But there is many moms. If you are listening to this now, you might resonate. Sometimes we feel guilty because we are spending time on the business and we want to be with the kids. When we are with the kids, we want to do the business, and sometimes it's just difficult to
Yeah.
deal with those emotions. And again, is understanding where are those emotions coming, because usually they are related with things that you went through, or beliefs that you created maybe when you were growing up, because we model our parents, our carers,
Mm.
right? So for me, it was understanding that, for example, just to give an example, for me, I was struggling to understand that it was possible actually to work less hours and have probably the same results or even better,
Yeah.
because I had this idea. I learned it from somewhere, in my life when I was growing up, that we need to work really hard
Yeah.
and be always working. And it was,
Exchange our time for money.
yeah, 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 yeah. And when I wasn't working or taking time for myself, I was feeling guilty, and it was strange to do that, right? So I have to relearn that. I had to teach that to myself.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So the way I do it now is, bearing in mind the our life, how do you say, life, no, family life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just want to be there. I feel really lucky that I'm doing this and I can, my time is flexible. So I just want to be there present for them, having breakfast together, take them to school, and then being there to pick them up. And then I have to, do my work um, during the time they are not here. But of
Mhm.
course, with the COVID and pandemic, that was a little bit harder. But just to answer that, for me, the main focus is being there for the family, and then finding a way to slot the time for business, and not the other way around. So not the business first. And then recently, this is a surprise for me, but
Mhm.
recently I stopped working evenings, which I didn't know I could do that. So
Mhm.
it comes to a time where I left whatever it's not done. I just
Mhm.
leave it
Mhm.
for tomorrow,
Yeah.
and that's a big achievement for me.
Woo! That is so nice. So nice to hear. And I think a very beautiful point that you're mentioning, which I resonate with so much as well. And I would really like to ask the audience to comment below. It's about creating a lifestyle. That is so
Yeah.
yeah, so true. Because there's this thing where people talk about a lot of the time, right? They say work life balance, which is like what? Work life balance? Like I I whenever I was in a job as well, I used to also think about that and then like, oh, how do I balance the two things? But now, exactly like what you're saying, it's about creating that lifestyle and having business and family somehow be together because it's a lifestyle. And one of the things as well with what you were saying, which I personally resonate with as well, is that family is number one. And for me too, my family comes number one. But I think one of the very powerful things that you do and that I do as well, and that I see a lot of people within our communities as well do, is that it's very important to somehow have open conversation and to talk about it and include the family members with it. I personally have been so blessed with my family, my parents, my brother and sister, and like everybody. We're always communicating, always talking about, always supporting each other. So for me, it came very natural to then do the business together and do these beautiful things together. And I see that with your family too, like how, for instance, your daughters are involved with your TikTok or your photos and all that things,
Yeah.
which is super beautiful because it's it can be a family thing. And especially if you like if you're in a job, it is a lot. Well, I wouldn't say it's more difficult, but it can be more challenging to combine it in that way because there's strict fixed that's the word, fixed timings, fixed rules, and all that. Whereas if you are running your own business, you can set the timings, you can create the rules, and thereby it is a lot more easier as well for you to say, hey, let's include the family members. Let's conversate about it together. Let's grow it together. Let's make it our lifestyle
Yeah.
rather than this is just a me thing. Because
Mhm.
that is so much more fun. And I also say always like, oh, I cannot wait until your daughters are, building your funnels and all that. Because, you're an absolute star in funnel building and running your business and doing all incredible things, which you share, so powerfully with your community and with your students and everything. But I think that's a very powerful thing as well.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yeah, and the more we have those conversations, the more I think we learn with each other. And you're right; it's about open conversations,
Mm.
and many times that's a conversation for on the dinner table.
Yeah.
Whether it is business or maybe sometimes it's the challenges that we find, not just in
Mm.
school but in business and the differences. And because I have my own business. My husband works for a company,
Mm.
so we have the two perspectives. So it's
Yeah.
really interesting to bring that into conversation,
Mm.
and then to see also how this can impact them in their education, and then seeing them coming up with ideas for businesses.
I love
And I don't know, and then and it's so much fun.
It's so beautiful. I totally love it, and I think as well, what you were just sharing about growing the business together. Like one of the reasons I think why a lot of people sometimes find it difficult is because maybe in the traditional sense, business is viewed as business. But I know what you're doing, what I'm doing, and what a lot of the people in our communities do is we're actually focusing on helping people. We're focusing on making a difference, making an impact. And so it doesn't even look to me and to you like business. It looks like, just doing something good, doing something that is fun, doing something that is creative, doing something that is making a difference to other people. And if you look at it from that perspective and looking at it like, hey, how can I help more people? What do you guys think? Shall we do this? Shall we do that? Shall we take some photos? Or, whatever, any of these ideas. I think in that way, it's also much easier to make it into a lifestyle rather than having that work-life balance,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's helping people, which is fun in any case, and it's like it's a cool thing to do.
Yeah, that is very, very true. And this is something that I learned with you so well. It's it's how we are always serving people.
Mm.
So my conversation changed a lot, and
Mm.
so our conversations here with our family is based on how can I help people, how am I impacting people, how can I help them.
Yeah.
So it comes down to that, and that is, it's a huge shift, not just for me, but in my family and how we are impacting people. Because also, then we are at the same time, we are educating each other, we are learning with each other,
Yeah.
and it's when you bring your family into the conversation, I think that also it's easier to then get involved in your what you're doing, and when you share your mission, your vision, and they
Mm.
get involved in that as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes I also hear people that they struggle with the partner that is not understanding
Mm.
why do they have to spend those hours working, what are they doing.
Yeah.
And just about the conversation, having that conversation, and maybe it's about sharing your vision, why you're doing
Yeah.
that, why is so important. And sometimes, I'm taking photos or ask them to take photos, and they ask, oh, there you go to your Facebook or to Instagram or whatever. And I say yes, because when I post this, I'm helping people this way, and I
Yeah.
share them my idea. What is my idea behind that? And then,
That
oh,
is
yeah.
beautiful.
And then they follow with other ideas. What if you do this and that? Maybe you can help this way and that. And that's so
So
fun.
wonderful. That is so beautiful. Yeah, I totally love it because for me as well, like I personally, I'm not a big fan of the educational system. So when I see you with your children and how you involve them into the business and into the empire building, and I see other people do that too. I'm like personally like I'm not gonna send my children to school. I'm like, no, let's do this. Let's help people together. Let's learn, the entrepreneurial skills. And I just think that's super, super beautiful. Like the way how you do it is just absolutely amazing. But also what I really want to dive into right now is just the way how you help people, because I know like you obviously have your own programs, you have a variety of different programs for different types of people, but you have a very, very strong mission as well to help females, right? To help women who are growing their businesses, whether they already have an established business and they want to take it to the next level, or whether they are wanting to get started and they're excited, but they don't know where to start. And one of the things that I personally find so beautiful in how you do this is that like this is why I said earlier, like you walk the walk. You don't just talk the talk, you walk the walk. And how you are leading by example, like how you are running your empire, how you are including your family, how health is an integral part of how you teach. Would you like to share a little bit more about of any of the ladies, or it could even be men, but specifically because I know one of your big missions is to help females in this. um,
Yeah.
what would be a big tip that you would like to give them regarding this, like if they're just starting out, like what's an important thing to keep in mind?
Yeah, I work with both men and women.
Mm.
The program is for now is specifically for women.
Mm.
Um, and the reason why, just to give a little bit of background, is because in general, obviously as women, we work in a different way than men.
Mm.
And what I found is sometimes as women in general, women are still very much, in many cases, this is general speaking, of course, dealing with the family,
Mm.
and they have a special role within the family, of
Yeah.
course, men as well, okay?
Special in different ways.
It's not a comparison, okay?
Yeah.
We just have a different role within our families and the
Yeah.
business. And when I see, many women just struggling first with that guilt of, okay, I want to work, I want to do my thing, what
Mm.
feels good for me, but at the same time, I want to be there present for my kids.
Mm.
And I see this with many women, and we just work in a slight different way
Yeah.
than men. And there are so many things as women that we can bring into the business, and maybe we were not taught to
Yeah.
use those skills.
Mm.
For example, our intuition, our senses, the way we can nurture and bring that into our business, the way we do, because women, for in society, the really important thing is relationships and family.
Yeah.
So we can bring that um, nurturing characteristic
Yeah.
into the business as well, and find a way that works, right?
Yeah.
Without and what I want women to understand is that we don't need to follow one type of model of
Mm.
doing business. There's
Yeah.
different ways to do business.
Yeah.
And what if there is a way where you can grow your business and still be present with your family,
Yeah.
and without feeling guilty, or without feeling that you need to work long hours, you need
Mm.
to hustle constantly,
Yeah.
right? Maybe just hustle when you want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um, so that is what I one of the main things that I bring onto the program is to help women realize that, okay,
Mm.
so there is another way to
Mhm.
do business,
Yeah.
okay. So maybe there was this one model, but now there is so many other ways.
Yeah.
And what I help them to realize is that you can follow your, I call it soul aligned, is on the sense of following your heart. Okay,
Yeah.
so connecting more with your intuition, you can bring the tools, all
Mm.
the tools and that you learn, but
Mm.
also use your heart, your intuition, your soul
Yeah.
into the business and follow that, because
Mm.
everyone, men and women, we have intuition and we can use it into the business. But sometimes we feel that struggle, that pull. Okay, maybe you've learned this is the way to do business,
Mm.
and then you feel kind of pulled, okay, but I feel like this is going to work, or this is what I want to do. And it's about bringing them together, okay.
Yeah.
So this feels right for me.
Mm.
How can I trust that? Because many times we don't trust that intuition, or that inner knowing that we know that
Mm.
we have, and bring them and combine them in a way that feels good.
That is so beautiful. Like, man, I would just like to listen to you for ages. And by the way, if anybody feels like as excited as I do, definitely join her masterclass. Isabel has gifted us the masterclass free of charge, where she dives into this topic in a lot more detail. Because obviously, right now, I know you have a very important meeting to go to in just a few moments. So today we gave as much as we could in a possible as possible in a short space of time. But on the masterclass, Isabel goes in a lot more detail on this. I would highly recommend you guys to click on the link. It's either in the description, or it's in the comments, or you can see it floating by in the bottom right here, bit.ly.com/soul aligned masterclass. And man, I mean, this is very, very powerful stuff. And I think this is like a very, very crucial point as well, like bringing in your intuition, bringing in your how do you say, like your maybe your even also maybe gut feeling into
Mhm.
different things that you do. And for me personally as well, doing that in my businesses is has made such a difference. So I am
Yeah.
extremely, extremely, extremely excited for your masterclass. Cannot wait to see you talk more about this. um But at this moment, I just really want to say a big, big thank you for sharing your precious time here on today's True Talk episode. I know you have a super busy schedule and you're serving the world all the time, but yeah, I really want to thank you so much for this beautiful conversation. And also looking at the comments, there's been so many comments that have come in that people say they really, really enjoyed this topic and thanking so much for the discussion. Let me just put in this one by Fina. Wonderful discussion. Wishing you all the best, Isabel. You rock. And Christina saying, yes, wonderful role models. Two of you are very inspiring, lovely, and very important meeting. Yes. And what else do we have? Setting your visions around the changing flexibilities. Beautiful. Very, very nice. Now, I just really want to say a massive thank you once again for sharing your incredible insights with us. And I really, really find it so beautiful to see how you run your business, how you run your family, and how you combine the two in a powerful soul aligned lifestyle. And for the audience, make sure to click on the link and join her masterclass, because she is going to give you far more. There's far more where this came from, and you're just going to have an absolutely ball. And also, I just want to say, if you thought that this conversation was empowering, it was inspiring, and you may think that anybody else can benefit from it, feel very free to hit the share button and share it with your tribe as well, so that we can pay it forward and help many more men and women in allowing them to build a beautiful lifestyle where they can find that balance in health as well as with family. And most importantly, allow it to impact your life. So make sure to listen and take on board all the beautiful things that Isabel has shared. And not to forget, join her on her masterclass. So Isabel, thank you again so much. And yeah, I cannot wait until your masterclass.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the beautiful comments. I was reading all the comments, so thank you so much, everyone joining live or
Nice.
after on replay. Thank you, Tjibaria.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And see you guys again tomorrow on another episode of my daily show. But for now, make sure to join her